Hi, welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to our third episode of our build series of the Pilot RC Predator 2.2 meter jet. This is our last episode of this build because what we're going to go over in today's episode is I'll go over some last minute changes I made to the installation of equipment based on really good inputs I received from a lot of my new jet friends who have been advising me throughout this project. We're also going to see some pictures and videos of our maiden flight. We had a really good day, happened just this past Saturday. Had 7 flights in total, all with the exception of one landing gear malfunction that I'll talk about during the video. Everything really went very smooth. And 3 of those flights were my own solo flights, so we'll talk a little bit about those and what my plans are for getting to the next step, which is to get my turbine waiver. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then finally what I'll do is I'll wrap up this episode with some things about the airplane that I discovered after I got back to my shop after a full day of flying. A few little fix-it things we had to do, and then maybe some things that I'll do going forward just to make operation a little bit easier. So thanks for watching. If you like what you are seeing in this channel, please subscribe, and don't forget to hit that like button, because even though I don't have a lot of subscribers yet, the more the merrier and the better it is for the channel. So I'll see you at the back end. Thanks a lot for watching.
A couple of weeks ago, I brought the plane out to my regular flying field, not the place where we did the Maiden this past Saturday, and had my jet mentor friends do an inspection to make sure there was nothing faulty in the build. So we made a few changes after that inspection. I just want to point them out here. A couple of things. The fuel lines coming from the main tank, this one goes to the vent, this one goes to the UAT. I had those built with those quarter-turn quick disconnect that I have in my gas airplanes because I find those easy for fuel tank maintenance. I can just disconnect the fuel lines and remove the tank. We decided that that was a little risky in a turbine jet just because of the pressures that the fuel flows, so we removed those and just put single lines in. A couple other things we did. We had a couple of rogue wires, or just wires I had that were laying across the top of the ECU. I had another lead, a servo lead, that was laying across the top of the battery. So we rerouted those to get them away from any sources of interference. This antenna, that is the antenna that takes the cross axis on the aeroplane, I had that taped down to the floor here. And I had that taped down to the floor, and there were other wires down there. So again, sources of interference. So we moved all of that stuff up. A couple of other things we did is the original fuel tube that goes from the UAT to the pump. Since the UAT fitting is 6 millimeters, the pump fitting is 4 millimeters. I had adopted something I'd seen where you put a small section of 4 millimeter on the pump and then slide the 6 over the 4 and safety wire it down. I'm sure that would have worked, but we decided it was better to get this Festo fitting that goes from 4 to 6, so that way we only have one size tubing on the fitting at each end. A couple other things we did as a result of our inspection. Not all of our fuel tube fittings were safety wired, so now they're all safety wired, so we're good there. One other thing during our range check and taxi test is we were not happy with the braking power of the landing gear controller. So we found that the brakes could be adjusted with these potentiometers. So we adjusted those screws and got improved braking power. So we're good there. I think that covers all of the things we did pre-Maiden. That all worked out really well. I'm not sure if I've shown this in other videos, but I noticed some pilots leave their GSU out of the airplane and just plug it in while they're starting. I've got mine mounted in here so I can monitor what the engine is doing during startup. I've also got telemetry working with my Jetty radio, so that I can actually see the status of the engine, RPMs and stuff on the transmitter. I'll do a radio segment later in this video. What else would be worth talking about? I think that covers it. The last thing that I'll probably end up doing after our Maiden is I'm going to move the fuel shutoff valve from this section into this section. We'll mount it here somewhere. And the reason I'm going to do that is the way it is right now. When I want to start the airplane up, I mean, the last thing you do before you hit the start sequence is open the fuel valve. So the canopy has to be off. Then I have to put the canopy on once the engine is running and tighten everything down. And likewise, when we, at the end of a flight, when we're going to shut the engine down, I've got to get the canopy off so I can do the engine shutdown and turn off the fuel valve. So by moving it from here to here, then I would only need to remove this hatch to be able to do pre-flight and post-flight operations on the fuel valve.
Okay, today is Maiden Day. We're out here at Georgia Jets. I've not been to this field before. It's about an hour and a half drive from my house. And what we have here is a field designed for jet flying. It's got a 1,000-foot by 60-foot wide paved runway. Great big overfly area. Grass runway adjacent to the paved runway. And I think we're gonna have fun today. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning. The sun on this side of the field is in our field of view, but it'll move behind us by about 9:30. We should be fine. Okay, we looked at the field a minute ago. We are moments away from Maiden. My friend Daniel, who's been helping me through this turbine jet process, has been through all of my changes that we did since the last field check, which was a couple of weeks ago. I also did a couple of videos on some of the changes I made. So pretty soon we should have this in the air, hopefully have some video of it in the air, and that's what we'll do. There's my friend Daniel.
We'll get this thing going.
All right, great.
This band's changed the name a few times. They were Jefferson Airplane, then they went to Jefferson Starship, then they went to Starship, and then they went to George Jefferson, I think, so George Jefferson. So now they're back to Jefferson Starship. And out on tour playing with Brett Michaels and nothing is James classically on.
Just cycle it again.
One more time, we'll put it down.
Nope.
Feel it. Feel it.
I thought I had that technique.
start turning the ship, we'll drop down to the front. So you could have struck out. Got enough for a landing.
All right, so Maiden Day is behind me. Got 3 solo flights in on our flying day. It was all pretty exciting for me, and I think it was exciting for the guys at the club too, who were there to help me. A couple of observations I'll make about gas turbine airplanes is they take up a lot more sky, they fly a lot faster, and I think it's got largely to do with how much I've invested in the airplane. There was something inside me that was just taking it a lot more seriously. Not that I don't take the other segments of the RC hobby seriously, but this just, for me, seemed to be a level up. Just making sure everything was perfect before I even started the engine, before I even thought about putting it out onto the runway to take off. In fact, even after that landing gear malfunction, we spent a lot of time seeing if we could replicate the issue, which we could not. But as a safeguard, we did remove a lot of wires, check connections, put it all back together, cycled the landing gear several times, and we were satisfied. In fact, when I got the airplane back to the shop, I have now cycled it probably 20 times, and it's working perfectly now. So really not sure what caused that landing gear malfunction, but that's just one example of just the level of seriousness that was a little bit elevated. Everybody at the club at Georgia Jets was very hospitable and kind to me. I'm really looking forward to hopefully getting my membership application approved and getting my turbine waiver done in the next couple of weeks. Thanks again for watching. If you have any questions, you can post them in the comments on the video. And I don't know what my next project's going to be, but stay tuned to the channel for more interesting content. Please subscribe and please like this video. Thanks for watching.